what is going on in the world right now. Let's see. What's interesting that I kind of want to talk about today? I'm on a quick errand, so I have about 20 minutes or so. So let's keep this short and sweet. Let me think. What's going on? I guess what happened right now that just popped up was SpaceX rocket explodes on the ground. And I saw this headline right before getting into the car, so I just want to speak on it just a little bit. I feel like it's been a tough year for Mr. Elon. Tough year. He's had Tesla stock is down. He has been exposed as a major abuser of the substances, and he's having a big fight with Trump. I believe they made up though, but okay, they made up in the most in the funniest way, I have to say. The way they made up is basically Elon got on his knees and begged for forgiveness. So that's not really making up. That's just sad. So and then I saw today that SpaceX a rocket exploded on the ground. Now that's completely different. The rockets exploding in the air, because when they explode in the air, they always say, hey, this is what we wanted it to do. This is a planned thing. We are trying to test the extremities or the extreme circumstances, and sometimes they explode, and so we know what to do next time so they don't explode. Like, oh, this is the threshold, this is the line, and if you cross this line, it'll explode. Got it. We know now not to do that. And so that's what they always say when the rockets explode in the air, right? Like, oh, this is planned. When it explodes on the ground, that's not the same thing. That's somebody messed up. And it's not like messing up like, oh, have you seen those videos where like people have forklifts, like the warehouse forklift drivers, and like they stack a pallet wrong, and then it topples over, and it causes like the warehouse to crash, and it's like a couple $100,000 worth of damage, or maybe just a few $1,000s worth of damage, right? A rocket like SpaceX, one of those rockets exploding on the launch pad, that's millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of damage, because I'm pretty sure the goal was not to damage the launch pad itself. You know what I mean? Like, because when they launched the rockets and they exploded in the air, they're like, oh, okay, that's great. You lose the money for the rocket, and you lose money for, like, that's great. But when it explodes on the ground, you lose money on the rocket, and you lose money on the launch pad. And that's most likely not expense that they're expecting to make. Right? So that's extra crushing. And then you throw in there that, I know somewhere in the back of people's minds, you gotta wonder about the substance use. I was thinking about this today. There's that thing where, I don't know if you guys have heard of this, but like when people get older and older, like near the end, right, they start going back and they want, like, I want to try all the substances, because you're at the end and you're kind of like, I want to experience everything, and you want to experience all those substances. I guess at the end there's people that do that. And then there are billionaires, and when you get to, like, I'm assuming Elon's level, where he's done, you would assume that he's done most of the things that money can possibly buy. And I guess at some point in your path to knocking things off the bucket list, I think about this with lotto winners, actually, where you get the money and you start just doing things, but you run out of stuff to do and you just keep on doing things. I'm pretty sure Elon was at the point where he did everything that money could do, and he's like, what is this? What are these things? These powders and pills and stuff. Let's give this a whirl. And he's on it right now. And so you think about that, and then you think about this SpaceX rocket that explodes on the ground, and you wonder to yourself, oh, I don't know. That that's a crazy trip. Oh my goodness. Okay, what else is going on that I find very interesting? Enough about Elon and his wild trips. Let's see. Oh, I guess there's that other thing. It's the This is a story that I actually find really interesting. It's about the lady that had to give birth to her baby, even though she is brain dead in Georgia. Have you guys heard this story? This story is is crazy to me. So if you guys don't know, I believe she has been in and out of the hospital before, and then she came in there with headaches, and they ignored her, right? And to be honest, this is actually something that scares me, because this happened to me like last year. Was it last year? Last year or 2 years ago? But very recently, I had something similar. I had like migraine headaches, and then I went to the doctors. They had no idea what it was, and I went to 3 different doctors, and they had no idea what was causing it, and they kept saying, "Oh, it could be this, it could be that, it could be this," and I'm like, "It's not. It was none of those things." And to this day, nobody knows what was wrong. But I remember I couldn't even walk. I couldn't walk. I couldn't stand. I couldn't eat. I couldn't do anything. And I don't know. It just went away one day, and then that was it. But so she came in to the hospital with something similar, I guess, where she had migraine headaches. She couldn't do anything. It's not normal. It's not something that she experienced before. And they couldn't diagnose her, and they ignored her, and then later she ends up being brain dead, but she's pregnant. And they wanted to pull the plug, like, or at least the mom wanted to, like, pull the plug. But in Georgia, it counts as an abortion, and I guess in Georgia, it's super banned over there, and they just keep her alive, so they can they keep her body alive. Like, she's gonzo, she's gone. Nobody's home. They keep her alive, so they can deliver this baby, but this baby they already said is non-viable, because the mom has been gone forever, and they literally the minute where they realized that the fetus, and the doctors were afraid to do anything. Like, they know that this baby is not viable. They know all these things, right? But they're afraid to do anything because they're afraid of the legal aspects of Georgia law, where it's illegal to do an abortion, and they just keep the mom alive, the mom's body alive, until the minute where the fetus was, like, legally able to come out. They took it out. So this brain dead lady gives birth. Well, I wouldn't call it giving birth. They get a 1-pound baby out of the lady. That's a crazy thing. Like, she's brain dead, and then they takes 1-pound baby out, and then literally the minute that happens, the mom, the grandma basically of this baby, pulls the plug on the mom, and then that's that. And then now the baby is 1 pound in the ICU NICU unit, and they're all saying like, dude, this baby is not gonna make it. It's stable right now, but like that is wild. That's a wild scenario because imagine now this the grandma, like she just had to pull the plug on her daughter, and then what are her options now with this baby? Because she's the main person in charge, right? If the baby survives, right, which the doctors are saying it's low chance the baby survives. It's a Nikki Yui right now, right? What are her options? They can try to raise this kid as long as possible until eventually it doesn't work out, or this kid does make it, and then what? Like it sounds terrible all the way around for this, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to think about that because that's a wild story. Um, that's going on. It's happening right now. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. That's a wild story. All I have to say is that I don't feel like that. This doesn't, it doesn't feel right. That's what it is. It just doesn't feel right that this lady, the grandma has to pull the plug on her daughter because the medical staff in Georgia failed her daughter by not taking her symptoms or case very seriously. And that's what happened to me when I went in there. They didn't take me seriously, and I was like, and they're like, oh, it must be this. I'm like, I think I know what is going on. They're like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I cannot do anything right now. And well, I mean, luckily, I guess it worked out, but like for me, but yeah, that's crazy. So, all right, what else is going on that I found very interesting? The White House has a new flag that was erected yesterday. I thought that was very interesting because the whole day yesterday, everybody, the air was tense yesterday. I don't know if you guys were paying. If you were paying attention to the news yesterday, you were on edge. You were on edge. I have a buddy that is in the Middle East right now, and he called his mom, and he feels like we're going into World War III. He's over there right now on some, clandestine operation. That's all I know. He's over there, and he called his mom, and he's like, he feels like we're heading there. But anyways, the air was thick yesterday. Everyone was on their seats because everybody was waiting to see if Trump was gonna get us into World War III, because I guess we don't. You guys, I don't know if everyone knows, but like Ukraine is backed by Russia and China, and if we start getting really involved, I know China's already said that they don't want to do anything. They don't want to get involved, but who knows? They might. And so the air was thick yesterday. If you watched the news, if you didn't watch the news yesterday, I wish I was you, because yesterday if you were watching the news, you were tense because you don't know what was gonna happen. Literally the whole day yesterday, everyone was like, "Are we gonna go to World War III? Is this happening right now? Are we getting into, or not even World War III? Are we going into Iran?" Nobody wants to go there. It sounds like a terrible thing. And then Trump finally makes an announcement. And the announcement was that the flags that he ordered a few weeks ago are finally going up. And I was like, what? Everyone was like that. If you watch any of the late night talk shows, they were all like, what is going on? Like, we're all waiting to see if we're going to war. And then Trump's like, I have a big announcement, and everyone was like, "What is it? What is it? Is it happening?" And then he's like, "X, they're finally going up. There's two of them," and everyone was like, "What the hell?" he, okay. No matter what you say, Trump is the best at this kind of stuff. He's the best. He's treating the presidency like it's TV. It's like, stay tuned for next week to find out what else is gonna happen. And we're like, we're all on the edge of our seats. The media is having a. Okay, this is something that I guess some people don't take very seriously as well. The media, no matter what they say, CNN, and the MSNBC, all the alphabets, right? They love Trump. They make so much money under Trump. They won't admit it, but it is true. They make so much money with Trump because everybody is, tuned in all the time to see what is going on in everyone's favorite show, the White House, real life edition, right? Because like he is the best. He's the best at that. The best, the best, the best. It doesn't make it makes our lives like crazy, but he is the best at that. Like, stay tuned for next week to see what is going on in the world. I mean, those are the main things right now. I saw this morning as well that I mean, this is something I touched. Did I touch on this earlier? That I was saying that as this goes on, the Iranian attacks are going to be less and less and less because they need to shoot a whole bunch of missiles to get through the Iron Dome. But I mean, I guess this morning they proved that theory a little bit wrong because this morning they shot about 30 missiles and they hit a whole bunch of targets. So I don't know. I mean, they said that that we have. That I believe they said it was this yesterday or a few days ago. I forget. They said that they have more tricks up their sleeves that they could be doing. You haven't seen anything yet. I guess that's what they're saying. But I feel like as this drags on, and this is something that no one else is talking about. Russia wants this to keep on going. Technically, America wants this. On the back end, you're talking like military or industrial complex wise. On the back end, Russia wants this to keep going. I mean, I bet you America wants this to keep going. Like I've said this a few times, each one of those interceptor missiles that gets shot up and shoots down an Iranian missile, ka-ching, 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 $2 million, bro. that's Uncle Sam straight into the checking, like straight into the bank account right there. Because once they shoot an interceptor missile, those things cost moolah, And on the Iranian side, each one of those missiles that they launch, guess who makes money on that? Russia makes money on that. They're the ones who supply them with stuff. China doesn't want this to keep on going because I found this out this morning. Also, I mean that I don't know if you guys are aware of this. But I mean, there's so much going on. People just forget things, right? And I forgot that there were sanctions on Iran like a while ago, and their main export is like oil, and there are sanctions on them. So a lot of the other countries don't buy Iranian oil except for China, and China buys it like kind of like in a way. I'm not sure if it's secretly, but this is what I saw this report come out last night or this morning. That the main customer for Iranian oil is China, and they buy it below market too, because no one else is buying their oil, and I believe the oil makes up like 6 or something percent of their like economy. It's a big part of their economy, and China buys 90% of it, and so they do not want this war to keep going, and they do not want a regime change, because the regime change goes on, maybe their back end deals that they got going on for the cheap oil goes out the window, so that's another factor that's getting into this. So like I'm telling you, Russia wants this to keep going. They get to sell more weapons, you gotta get that moolah, get the rubles. Is that what they use? I forget. And then Uncle Sam wants us to keep going. We gotta sell more interceptor missiles. You know what else I found out today that I thought was very interesting? Because on the news cycle right now, they keep talking about the bunker buster, and every time I see like when they talk about weapons and stuff, I think about maybe it's the Asian in me. I don't know, but I think about the price tag of these things. That's why when I saw them shooting up the interceptor missiles, I'm like, how much does these things cost? And then I found out that they're like $2 million each, right? And then so I'm like, everyone's talking about the bunker buster, right? The one that Israel is saying that they need from us. And I was like, how much does this thing cost? And you know what I found out today? That thing is only for each of those bombs, the bunker buster bomb. It's I believe I saw the number. It was $3.5 million. I was like, whoa! If I was Israel, of course, if this are accurate numbers, of course I would want U.S. to come in and drop one of these bunker busters because the bunker buster, like I just said, if someone look it up for realsies. I did a quick Google search earlier and said that each one of these, the GP something 57 costs 3.5 million. Right? Think about that. An interceptor missile costs 2 million. This giant bunker buster missile, a bomb is only 3.5. Like, the Israelis are very about the moolah too. And I'm pretty sure they did the math in their head. They're like, dude, if we could just get America to drop one of these things, they would save so much trouble right now. But maybe that's what's also going on in the back. I'm so certain there's like a basement in the Pentagon somewhere, and that's all they do. They like calculate money and like money in, money out, and this is probably one of the computations. They're like, let's drag this out, make them use more interceptor missiles, so we can restock them down the road for a good price. But that's basically it. I'm at where I'm supposed to be, and I'll come on later. All right, see you guys.